Hi everyone, Vladimir is here with our multi-platform game development tutorial. So in the previous lesson we've almost finished the game. I think we only have to do some minor tweaks, but we miss one important part, and this is the sound. And the sound makes the game more lively, and I think we definitely need to add it if you want to call it a full-fledged game. So today I'm going to start with adding a few tweaks on the gameplay, and then we'll start working on the sound. So without further ado, let me show you what's going on. Here's my tutorial desktop. I'll just open the file game logic, because you see, the first thing that we need to adjust is that we do not have, once we lose, we have those defeat letters shown but nothing happens. So I think we need to get to the on game end. Technically we have the means to pass to tell if the game is won or lost, so let's just adjust it a bit. So let's make the player 1 boolean final. You'll see why later. And we have our on game end call when we win, but we don't have the on game end call when we lose. So let's fix this. When our player loses all the lives, we just add the on game end call, but we pass false, is signifying that the player has not been winning. And then we go to our game screen, find on game end function, make sure to adjust it and add final boolean before player 1. And what we are going to do, if the player has won, we are going to, as before, switch to the game screen. Otherwise, we are going to return to our character selection screen. I think this will do it. And another thing that we need to do, let's tweak our start button call in character selection screen. We need to do this because if the player has been upgrading his character and the lives of the character increased, we need to make sure they are the necessary value, they match the maximum lives. So we need to do this. What we need to do is just call game progress reset with false. We're not resetting the progress, we're only resetting the lives of our player. And the other thing is, currently the lives of the player are not being saved properly. So in our let's go to our player class. Let's check our mark victorious function, and actually let us save the player lives to our game progress. So that should do it. The tweaks are done and we are safe to go to our music and sound managing. I've downloaded some sounds from opengameart.com. I will leave the links in the article. If you need the same sounds, that's fine. I will also commit them to repository, and I've added the links in readme file. I've converted sounds but not music to OGG format because it takes much less space. So I've converted them, and then I put everything into Android assets music folder. I just created a new folder called music. So that's about it. I've made the list of the following files. I'll show it to you. First, we just need to create a new class in our dodging hero package. Let's call it sound manager. And I've created the following files. I had those files taken from, let me just open the readme file. I had those files taken from OpenGameArt, multiple links, but I don't think it's going to be a problem to mention everything. We have the sound pack, we have the footsteps, and we have the music. I'll just put them here in our sound manager source file, so if you want to get them, you are free to do so. If you have your own sounds, generate them somehow, you are also free to do so. So sound manager is going to be somewhat a static class. It will have some static functions. Firstly, we need some asset manager, which will make sure that the sounds are loaded. And the way the asset manager works in libgdx is that it mm, uploads the file, downloads the files asynchronously, meaning that you can do something in the background. The game can draw the loading screen, but since we don't have much assets, I'm going to be lazy this time, and I'm just going to force them to load everything at once. So first we need the function load sounds, which will load all our sounds, obviously. First, let's load our recurring sounds like footsteps and swings. I'm going to do this by just calling assets load function. Bear in mind that the load function does not load it instantly. You need to wait for some time, and I'm going to cover a bit later, but for now just see what I'm doing. Just load all of our swing files, and those are going to be sound class, and we're going to get the path of those files. And apart from the swing files, we also have our walk files, the same amount. 3 files for the swing, like the sword swing attack, and 3 files for the walk. Single file for coin pick and single file for healing. So most basic sounds that you will need in the game. Right. We also need to load those single sounds, right? Let me just copy that part of the code. Music, coin, and the same way let's load our healing sound. So that should do it, but to finalize it, you just call finish loading function, and I will just show you what's inside there. Basically, while our assets keep updating, meaning loading, well, something like a sleep is being called in the thread. So right, but apart from loading sounds, we also need to, release them when we exit the application. So let's name a function. Let's create a function called release sounds, and what we're going to do, we're just going to call assets dispose. Whenever you load something, make sure to dispose of it. Another thing, what we need to do, we obviously need to call those loading and releasing functions. Let's go to our dodging hero right before our game progress, right after our game progress. Let's just call game sound manager load sounds, and in our dispose function at the end of it, call sound manager release sounds. So that loads and releases sounds, but we're not playing any sounds, and I think this is the thing that we want to fix right now. Let's create first, to make the sound appear more randomized and to give more variety, remove boredom. It makes sense to vary the volume of the sound. So sometimes the sound will be silent, more silent. Sometimes the sound will be louder. So that should be our first concern. No matter what the sound is, let's make sure we can randomize the playback. Play sound random volume. Let's make a private function. We pass the sound, which we name sound. We pass the minimal volume. We pass the maximum volume. And basically, if sound does not equal null, we just play it. We just play it by picking the random, is it called pitch in English? Random volume. So we're playing it with the random volume. And the most easy sounds to introduce right now will be attack and walk, because they are directly noticeable in our game screen. We do not, as we agreed before, we split the game logic from inner representation to the player. When the bonus picks up, it's only noticed in logic right now, but when the player is moving or attacking, this can be noticed apart from logic. in characters take damage class, or in game screens attempt movement class. So what we're going to do, we're going to introduce the function play swing sound, and we're just going to get the random loaded swing sound, 1 of 3. As I said, just to make it randomized, math_details random, you pick random number from 0 to 2, and after that you pass it to our awesome play sound random volume function. I say 09F or 10F, so it's just as loud as possible, or a bit more silent, a bit more quieter. And do something similar for play walk sound. Let's just do something similar. Assets get music walk random 2 plus dot ogg sound class, and then we pass it to our random sound function. Seems alright. Let me test it. I think we need to add the calls. First, go to our character class, and you see our take damage call. When the take damage function is called, let's just go crazy. Let's just play our swing sound. And in our game screen, when we call attempt move function, if movement is successful, let's go crazy again, and we just play walk sound. Let me run the game and see what's going on. Is something going on? Let's see. Alright, let me start it. And you see we can walk, and the sound is somewhat randomized, but maybe a bit too loud. I'm going to reduce it to 0.5. Am I reducing it? Yeah, I'm going to reduce the sound of the walking because it seems a bit too loud. But the hits I think are okay. So let me reduce the sound of the walk. And after that, let me add our missing functions where we take the health or we pick the gold. So let's do this. First things first, let's add public static void play coin sound coin, and we just get our music coin ogg sound class. We're getting the coin, we're passing the coin further. I think the normal volume will be alright, and we do the same for the healing function. Play heal sound heal, assets get music heal ogg sound class, and we pass it further. Our heal sound 09F 10F, and what we need to do is we need to find a way for the logic to tell our game screen that the sound should be played. So I think it makes sense if we add another function to our listener, call it void on bonus pickup, and we pass bonus type to it. So whenever the bonus is picked in our attempt bonus type, in our assign player position function, whenever a bonus is picked, we just notify our listener, event listener, that the bonus has been picked up, and we pass the bonus type of the current bonus. And what we need to do is we need to introduce this function in our game screen. You just put the cursor on the game event listener, press Alt Enter, and choose implement methods. There's the on bonus pickup method, and then you check the bonus type. If bonus type is bonus coin, then obviously you need to play the coin sound, else you need to play else if the bonus type is bonus help, you need to play heal sound. So after that, let me just start it. Let me start it. Let me see if it's working. And I think this will be it for this lesson. Start. Okay, coin. Can you see the coin as well as I can? Maybe not, but I'm just letting you know that it's there and that it's definitely working. And I hope you believe me, but if not, I'm not blaming you. So right, let me just find the heal. If it's working, we can conclude this lesson. I think I'm only getting gold now. Right, so the healing is also working. So this concludes our lesson 25. We've implemented sounds and we've tweaked the game. I think in the next lesson we're going to implement the music and sound volume buttons, or just one button for everything. And I think this should finish our polishing step. After that, we'll be working on the Android implementation, like in-app purchases, ads, and so on. So right, thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure and it's been fun. The next lesson we'll finish the polishing part. And again, thank you. Vladimir's out. Bye.